omnipresent content strategy. Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. This is a picture of Howie Schwartz, which I will get to in just a moment. Let me just kind of bring you up to speed. If you haven't been watching or listening to the past couple episodes, this is the third in a series all on how I discovered this concept that I like to call omnipresence and the omnipresent content strategy. Sometimes I refer to it as the ubiquitous content strategy or universal content strategy. The whole idea is, how can you be everywhere at once? How can you be in all quarters of the internet and beyond when it comes to your ideal customers? So, and I have to apologize, my throat's a little more, it's a little tweaked today, as it was last night, but hopefully you'll bear with me. So what I came to discover, and I talked about this briefly over the past few videos, this was back in 2007, that I tripped upon search engine optimization, and the whole idea of internet marketing kind of came out of nowhere, and I got bit by the bug. This was pretty early on in the game. Not as early as some people. Some people, some of the classic people started in the late 90s, but in terms of a lot of the people who are active right now, getting started back then, I got to see a whole lot of action and got to experience it, at least from the spectator end of things. So the original time, I kind of accidentally found how to direct traffic via Google by putting out a lot of content on a regular basis in a lot of different places and using keywords and so forth to attract search engine results. And then I came across, and as I talked about last time, I came across a interview with Fred Seibert of Frederator, and how he was able to create this huge podcast network and be able to get all this massive attention by doing very similar to me, but doing it on a much grander scale. And so I knew I was going in the right direction. But this third piece that I stumbled upon is this guy, Howie Schwartz. Howie Schwartz, at the time, was one of these internet marketing stars, okay? And he was preaching the gospel of search engine optimization and beyond. This concept that he talked about, conversation domination. How do you dominate any given conversation online? And you may have heard Russell Brunson talk about this, and how he was also inspired in the early days by Howie Schwartz. And it's a really brilliant concept, because he not only used search engine optimization, but found a way to take any form of free content, which in those days there were a lot of different types of free content available, because everyone was trying to grab hold. It was the great land grab of the internet. And so everyone was trying to stake their claim. And so there was a whole lot of offerings out there for free memberships, free, basically a million different places where you could post free content. It wasn't just considered social media at the time. It was everywhere. And there was this whole movement at that time called Web 2.0, where it was more interaction and everything that kind of led to where we are today. But it started then, and there was so much ability to put yourself everywhere at the same time, and the way that Google was playing off of it just made it better and better. And Google wasn't the only player back then. We still had Yahoo, and a couple of the other search engines were still relatively viable. You still get a lot of traction off of them. And so I got to see one of these large webinars. Howie used to put on these huge webinars to get people signed up into his courses. And in the webinar, he'd just give it all away. I mean, he'd show you exactly what he was doing. So I'd be recording these things and everything right off the screen, doing everything I could to save this stuff. And I wasn't expecting it. Someone had passed it along to me, and just kind of at whim. It was nothing. And it ended up changing my entire life, running into this information and how it functioned, and realizing that I could build an entire business off of it. Because within a few years, I had done pretty well for the employer I was working for, and then branched off into my own business based off of all the principles that I got from free webinars and these free things that were meant to advertise. And I did end up purchasing a couple courses from Howie. It was great stuff, and it was great connections. A lot of connections that I still have today were to people that I met through Howie's original courses. So big props out to Howie Schwartz, wherever he is out there today, Mr. Angel Investor, and he kind of stepped out of the limelight and is doing his own thing off to the side. So really thankful that he entered my life and was able to show me how to do some of these concepts, and eventually that led me into the world of a much more broader marketing, direct response marketing, all that other stuff that I've discussed about before. But if you can understand that the principles are still true today for you and your business, it's all about the same principles. It's about having content, having something that you're putting out there on a regular basis, and putting it out in as many different places as possible. Taking one piece of content, repurposing it, repurposing it multiple times, and sending it in all directions over and over again, and making as much evergreen content, the stuff that never goes away, making as much of that as possible so that you have something that's building and building and building. We've done a little bit of it here. You can go back and look through all of these podcasts, the other podcasts that I've put out, and we've cracked the code on a lot of these things, and I've been able to meet a whole lot of other people online that have done the same thing. I'm going to be bringing to you more interviews of people who have been able to crack the code on content marketing, crack the code on the concept of true salesmanship, crack the code on networking, how to network in the modern age. It's all the same principles that you would have used 100 years ago, but how to apply those principles to life today in the 21st century. So hopefully all that makes sense to you. We'll be back tomorrow with more principles, strategies, and tactics that you can use in your business. In the meantime, go check out my book, 9 Ways to Amazon-Proof Your Business. Chapter 9 is all about omnipresence. That's what it covers right there, and it'll give you kind of the basis of what to go off of, other than what we've talked about already here, and what we talk about nearly every episode here at Brian J. Pombo Live. So follow, subscribe, and all that other stuff, and we will see you and talk to you next time. In the meantime, get out there and let the magic happen.